Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball. This is episode 33. I had 2 games left in the regular season, both road games, both challenging games, and we got one blowout win. It was like 30 points, and then we lost one of those by a few points to wrap up the season. So, at 23 and 4, 14 and 2 in conference, somehow getting that road win, especially by 30 points, I suppose. Well, our net ranking is 25th. And the media ranking is 25th. Yes, we are ranked for the very first time in the history of our program after what has been a fantastic season. We have obtained automatic promotion as the regular season victor of Conference T with a 14 and 2 record, 3 games better than South Carolina Upstate and VMI. The three of us, get the automatic promotions. Fordham right now have the edge for that 4th spot. Bethune-Cookman, Maryland Eastern Shore all have a chance at it, but it's going to come down to ultimately one of them taking the conference championship in order to make that happen. Otherwise, it should by default go to Fordham, but it could come down to net ranking as far as we know later on, but I don't think that's actually the case. It's weird that 4th spot. The head-to-head record should matter, but I've seen it not really follow that head-to-head record. But anyway, that's where we're at. We've already got promotion secured. Now let's see if we can get into the NCAA tournament. Ranked 25th in the country, you would think we've got a really good shot at an at-large bid if we don't win the conference title. But let's go see if we can claim a conference title. So the first round sees the 5th through 12th placed teams in the conference go head-to-head, and let's see how that one shakes out. And here is those results. Bethune-Cookman beating Coppin State. Grambling State with the upset over Maryland Eastern Shore. Fairleigh Dickinson, who beat us on the final day. It was Central Connecticut State that we beat out by 30 the few days before that. Fairleigh Dickinson moving on as well. New Jersey Institute of Technology has beat Howard. That also sets the tone that California Baptist, McNeese State, Kennesaw State, and Charleston Southern are the 4 eliminated sides. I like when it's clear, when it doesn't come down to the tiebreakers. Tiebreakers are so inconsistent, it would seem, and having 4 clear teams that had a worse record than anybody else, at least the relegation teams are clear, but that 4th spot up for grabs. Now I want to get into tournament play knowing that we are going to get into a tournament. I don't know whether it's going to be the NCAA tournament, the March Madness tournament, or if it's going to be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th tier tournaments. Ranked is probably a pretty good indicator that we win or lose should make it into the tournament. But if we lose this game, you never know. It could be 2nd or 3rd tier. But I am going to go ahead and assume that we have some games to play in this episode that are going to be a lot bigger than a conference quarterfinal. So let's go ahead and bypass this one. We are up against New Jersey Tech. And we're out. Are you kidding me? It wasn't even close. It was 91-77. Holt had 21 points and 7 rebounds, and yet we could not come up with the victory. On to tournament play, and that could have been enough to keep us out of the NCAA tournament after such a bad loss and so early in this tournament. Wow, that was shocking. Fordham still alive, going for that promotion spot, as is Grambling State, New Jersey Tech. All of them could get it. Number of upsets. Fairleigh Dickinson almost with the upset, but they're out. VMI out via upset, and Bethune-Cookman. So Fordham in that 4th spot right now looking pretty good. Fordham beating New Jersey Tech, and South Carolina Upstate beating Grambling State. So with South Carolina Upstate, one of the top 3 teams, automatic promotion teams, already into the conference tournament final, against Fordham, the team who sat in fourth place. It means they have now secured promotion because they will get it either from winning the conference or from placing fourth place if one of the top three finish ahead of them. So they are now secure. There's your four teams going up, but we have been shocked in this one. Let's see who is going to be the conference champion, because it is not the regular season. It is the tournament that matters in this one. It's South Carolina Upstate 97-84 over Fordham, over the Rams. They're still going to see that promotion though. And yeah, now we have to see what happens to us. We're going to have to keep our fingers crossed as we go into the tournament selection, as it's certainly not guaranteed coming from way, way down in Conference T, and you can guarantee we're not going to be ranked following that loss. Now, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we're actually picked for the play-in games, not as the lowest 16 seed, but as the higher, I believe that would be 11 seed. But still hey, you did not win your conference, and so here you go. But the first one is Florida A&M and Mount St. Mary's. Baltimore Presbyterian is the next one. Georgia Southern and Chicago. West Long Branch, Alabama Birmingham. There's still some names we need to work on. Okay, Boston, first round, Miami. So we didn't get a play-in. Means if we get something, it's an automatic seed. I would think we're not going to be a 14, 15, 16. I think we're looking at more of a 12, 13 type seed. There's your first 13. It's Colorado. And there we are. Okay, we got in. And I told you, 11 seed. I was thinking it was more of that, a little bit higher, 11, 12, 13. And we get an 11. And we're going to be up against, for me personally, my arch nemesis, Notre Dame. Not from basketball, but from college football. The team that circumvents the system, does it their own way, and not in a good way. If you don't know the background on Notre Dame as a football program, they are independent in a system that is full of leagues. They break all the rules. They circumvent all the rules. They play the easiest schedule in the freaking country year after year after year. They only play a couple real games, and they spread them out on their calendar to where they have multiple weeks to prepare for them, where they play Division II teams or very, 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 very bottom-end Division I teams in a lot of their games to spend weeks preparing for the big game against Stanford or against the occasional good program. And then with all that extra prep where their opponents are coming off of a huge game that was played 1 week or sometimes 5 days beforehand, whatever the case may be, and then they get this big TV package from NBC every year because they break all the rules in order to be independent, to do that, to not have to play by the rules that everybody else has to play by. And for whatever reason, they recruit absurdly well still. They were a massive program. They were the best program in the 80s. It's been a long time since they were that Notre Dame program. They win a lot of games because they have a lot of easy games on their calendar. And then every year they start the year ranked 6th. And then all of a sudden mid-season they're not ranked, or they're 25th or 23rd. But then the occasional year that they're just good enough to beat the teams because the other teams are underperforming, or they catch them at the right time where they've had weeks and weeks to prepare. And then they get to a bowl game and get slaughtered. Anyway, we're in as an 11 seed, and it looks like we've got West Virginia potentially in the second round. I'd like to win that game. I would like to win that game. Something I haven't really talked about this season at all is how we've actually been performing. The player impact estimate. Geyer, 10.63. Love, 11.18. Archie, 10.5. Damon Robinson, 10.1. Ed Hold is the standout performer at 16.3. So glad we picked him up on a whim. Eric Johnson, 11.5. Tempting to find a way to get him into the lineup, but where would he fit in at? Because we have so much depth. You have Brad Archie, who has done really well in his senior year, and then you would think, oh sure, what about Damon Robinson, who actually has underperformed a little bit and been problematic for us at times. But Robinson has some size, 6'8", 218. Eric Johnson, just 6'6". He is 239, but as a bit shorter, I'd worry about Eric Johnson performing at the power forward position. Plus, Damon Robinson, part of the reason why he might not be doing great could be playing him out of position, right? He's doing less than he could if he were that small forward. So Archie may be the one you would do, but really, you want to take Johnson over Archie? Johnson could be performing as well as he does because he is that extra option, because they take him less seriously. Well, anyway, I don't know. We'll see how the team does, but Notre Dame, heavily favored, apparently. We have a 14% chance of winning against Notre Dame in this next game. One good thing is Notre Dame's net is only 22nd. So we are actually in a very similar place. They're only 19-12. They haven't even managed to get 20 wins this season. 8-8 in conference, but that's Conference A. Yes, Notre Dame is in Conference A, which is a little surprising because their basketball program in real life is not that good. How often is Notre Dame in the top 25 of the rankings? I don't think I've seen them there too often. We are out of the rankings, obviously, after that loss we took. Robinson and Hold should have the matchup at the post. In fact, they have four starting freshmen. Four starting freshmen. And a senior. Okay. Dang. Points per game. We are 10 points per game better than they are. Points against is very similar, so they have a strong defense. They have a very strong defense. Now, of course, you scale our conference to all the way up to Conference A. It's not going to translate very well. Our numbers are not going to translate very well. We are not going to shoot the way we normally do. They're going to stifle us. It's going to be tough. We have not played anybody anywhere near as good as Notre Dame. And you look at their records, and they played a lot of top 25 teams this season, as you would expect being in Conference A. And while 8-8, middle of the conference, that's going to be a lot to overcome. We aren't the only ones that are seeing postseason play. Looks like we've got 4 or even 5 teams. Well, I would venture to say we have 4 teams that have qualified for postseason play. VMI and Fordham are in the 4th tier tournament, so they've actually got a decent chance of performing as they're there. And oh, wait, look, there's a 5th team. Fordham and Bethune-Cookman are playing each other in the 4th tier tournament. So there is at least 5 teams that have qualified. I would imagine nobody else is. 2 of us in the NCAA and 3 teams in the 4th tier tournament. VMI out in the first round. Guaranteed that one of our teams would move on. It's Bethune-Cookman who do. And so the last 3 teams still in tournament play all play on the same day now. Bethune-Cookman have Northern Colorado. That seems like a winnable game. Meanwhile, South Carolina Upstate got a 16 seed. They have to play Dayton. Okay. Surprise about that one, but there they are. And we have Notre Dame, of course, and we are definitely going to play that game live. Like us, their team is very balanced in their scoring, so we'll see how we perform. They have one big-time rebounder in Calvin Hardy, and that's out of that small forward position against Brad Archie, so we're going to have to watch out for that guy, as Archie's not a great rebounder. If we really are losing out on that battle, that could be problematic for this game. We're going to take things fairly quick early on, as honestly I don't think we're going to do terribly well in this game, but let's see how things go initially. If we have ourselves a game, we'll be slowing it down. We at least won the tip, and we get the first shot. It's a miss from 3, and then they quickly convert the mid-range 2-3 zone, really trying to take some space away from us, but we do convert, and it's tied at 2. Change of possession. It might have been a shot clock violation. They've been going at it for a while there. Second chance here. We have a lead. Could this be our only lead of the game, or will we start strong? Missed put back, and then the trip to the foul line as we fouled the second attempt there. We can't be giving up too many offensive rebounds if we're going to stand much of a chance in this one. Nice quick put back there, and it's 8-6. The only good thing about that zone is they're really tight to one side, and so we had all of our team on the opposite side where the passing lane is covered, but a ball over the top like that with an easy putback, you just can't predict doing that, right? Hit the front of the rim and have it bounce over as opposed to coming back at you. 12-11, we've had a couple leads in this game so far. They do have a little bit of momentum, but we're fighting back here. And with a three-pointer, it's 16-14. Steele, 18-14 with the transition bucket. So that was 5 very quick points there. And another 3. It's 21-14. We are on fire at the moment. That was Eric Johnson with that three-pointer. Lighten it up. Comes off the bench. Changes the momentum. I'm going to be excited about Johnson starting next season. I really hope he doesn't go and transfer on us, as sometimes players will do, especially if they end up on the bench for a year. But of course, we've also seen how you can lose Darius Q because there's too much competition at their position, even though they're the best player at their position in the entire conference. Or just the best player in the entire conference, period. And their backup is a walk-on. 23 all, 12 minutes played. So far, so good. We are in this game. Rebounding, level at 6 apiece, but Hardy does have 3 rebounds already. Again, he is that force that needs to be reckoned with. We need to get him in foul trouble and get him to the bench. He's got 10 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block right now. 4 for 5 shooting for him. Hardy is too good. Right now it's 0 fouls. We need to get him into foul trouble if we're going to have any chance. Fouls are 9-3. That's going to really hurt things. Right now, we have a 3-point lead. But with them heading to the double bonus on our very next foul, it's going to start giving them a lot of free throws. And you better believe that is going to turn into an advantage, even though we are now up 7. We continue to have the momentum. Another score. We're up 9. They've picked up their 4th foul finally. Still no fouls for Hardy, and Hardy's still on the court. He has not been to the bench yet. I don't think he has anyway. Missed 3, but the offensive rebound gives us another chance here. Draw foul. It's 37-31. 37-33 now. Hardy finally picks up a foul. The 5th team foul for them. We're already in that double bonus now. We have picked up that 10th, and it's a 2-point game. Quick move there, 39-35, and another quick transition. Draw the foul, make 2 free throws. It's 41-35. So we are carrying on a little bit of momentum. Finally, Hardy goes to the bench. Seconds to go until the half. If we get another chance here, we will use a timeout. No, we do not get another chance. They held for last shot. They don't convert. It's 41-37. We lead by 4 at the half. Points in the paint. We have totally dominated in the paint. Second chance points, though, has been all them. Fast break. Slight advantage. Hold. 5 for 6 with 10 points. He's been fantastic here in the first half. Geyer. 1 for 2 from the field. Just 2 points, but he does have a few assists and is a plus 11. So our really strong run came with him and Wheel. I think Johnson was part of that run as well, though Johnson's been out there a bit more. He's got 7. Love has 7. Hold the only one for us in double digits, but Hardy has been insane, though he has a -4. He was out there during that stretch as well. 19 minutes played for him. He literally only sat out the final minute of the half. 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 2 from free throws. He's got 6 rebounds, 2 offensive, 4 defensive rebounds. Archie has 0 rebounds. Archie's 1 for 4 with 3 points. Archie is struggling here with Hardy. Hardy's on another level. He is Conference A after all. And he is clearly the standout player that at the moment we just cannot compete with. Owens we're struggling with a little bit. He's 3 for 3 with 2 3-pointers. Hardy picked up 2 quick fouls though. That's the only reason why he sat down. So he did pick up a second foul. He played 19 minutes, picked up 2 fouls, and headed to the bench. Owens has 2. That was a very, very important 2 fouls there. Second half underway. Notre Dame starting with possession and a field goal, and I have no idea how we didn't get a possession, how they got back-to-back possessions there. I didn't see what happened. They made their shot, and then all of a sudden they took the ball side out. That's given them some early momentum to start this second half. That's worrying because now we trail. We're going to go ahead and use a timeout. I cannot afford to have them make a strong early run, and they continue. They have scored 10 straight points in 3 minutes, and we've only had, I think, 2 possessions. We've hardly touched the ball here in the second half. We finally convert, but it's not like we've missed a bunch of possessions. That was our 3rd possession of the half. It's not terrible to go 1 for 3. In fact, 2 for 4. But we're down 49-45. That was just the strangest series of events. I didn't even see us have the ball. We just turned it over. Pass the ball and instant turnover. Turnovers are level at the moment, by the way. It's 11-11, but we are -8 on rebounds. Hardy now already on 12 points. Still on 6 rebounds, but now on 6 assists. He continues to dominate this game. That 3rd foul would be literally our only chance right now. They went into the locker room and talked about how to beat up on a team less than themselves, and they figured it out. Boy, did they ever. Finally, we force a turnover and turn that into a bucket. Apparently, toes were on the line because it was a long 2. But we trail now by 11 as they quickly went down to the other end and scored. Chance to get a little momentum, and we do. Another 2, 62-51, but another 7-1 on the fouls. They are absolutely hammering us in the fouls department. Now, this is not necessarily down to the referees. This is down to quality. We have good defense. A lot of guys that are in the 50s. Guys that can just about hang with Notre Dame. However, their offensive skill is a lot more than what a bunch of guys in the 50s are. Rating-wise, that's nowhere near high quality. It's just not awful. It's just really good for our level, but not for their level. And it's starting to show. We trail by 10 here with 6 to play. We hung with them for a half, but definitely not all game long. Hardy, 8 rebounds, still 6 assists, but 16 points. But he did pick up that 3rd foul. That is literally our only chance. Can we get him that 4th foul soon? Because Owens to some extent, but he in particular is absolutely dominating us. And we've pulled back a little bit. We're within 4 rebounds now. We're +1 in the turnovers department. We are shooting 50% from the field. Calvin Hardy now 20 plus. As he's had 2 buckets here in the last little bit. And we're down inside 4 minutes and in a whole lot of trouble. They have the momentum yet again. Not much point slowing this down unless we can get some momentum. We're going to use a timeout here soon. Changing tactics is not... Oh! Right as we're about to score, I'm clicking timeout, and then we end up almost having an open bucket. That's terrible timing on that one to use that timeout. Ruined what we had, but it did give us the swing of momentum. That 2 would have been nice because we needed it, but it did give us some momentum that turned into a 3-pointer on the next possession, but we trail by 13 still. For every little bit we gain, we lose. Nice transition bucket William Love, quick 2, but then they score again. We can't trade buckets. We have to score and get stops, and we're just not getting the stops. Notre Dame suddenly has the momentum yet again. 15 points, 15 seconds. That is definitely going to do it. Quick turnover. Foul. We get 3 points there, but that's not going to be enough. McPherson, garbage time, 3-pointer. Good on him, but we lose 68-80. Hardy was still on the court. He didn't even head to the bench. Double-double for him, nearly a triple-double. Huge game, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Made 10 field goals on just 14 attempts. Guy was insane. And Hardy played 39 minutes, I think. 35. Oh, sorry. He did have 7 turnovers, but that is literally the only downside to his game. He was fantastic otherwise. Robinson, 2 for 8. You know what? I won't miss him that much. I won't. He's a senior. He's graduating. Geyer is graduating. He has not been that great either. He's been okay. He's been definitely okay, but those two have not necessarily been the best. Everybody else is coming back, hopefully. Johnson played pretty dang well. I'll be happy to get him into the starting lineup alongside Hold. They shot 56% from the field and had 25 free throw attempts to our 10. Rebounds, we still ended up being minus 11. Fourth tier tournament was broken up into 4 regions. Bethune-Cookman got a 1 seed. Surprising, but okay. They got to the finals of the West region, which means essentially Elite 8, but that is where they were out. So there is your final 4. Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, and Iowa State. Final 4 is now set. So here's what we have. Miami, the 1 seed, got knocked off in the second round to Georgia. Georgia then got knocked off to Kansas State, but then got knocked off to Oklahoma State in the Elite 8 matchup. So that's going to take Oklahoma State, who beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame, of course, who knocked us off, beat West Virginia, so they beat the 3 seed on their way to losing to Oklahoma State. Chicago region, it's Dayton who got through against the 2 seed, Ohio State. In Nashville, it was Gonzaga beating Memphis. Memphis, the 3 seed, knocking off Florida State. And in the Denver region, it is Oklahoma beating Wisconsin. Wisconsin knocked off the 2 seed Florida on their way. So there is your final 4 matchups. We will get through those shortly, but we still have some recruiting to do, and we just did a couple visits on a couple guys who were pretty hot on us. Let's see how that went. McMillan thought the visit went well. Penders was impressed. They've both made a decision. Will it be for us? Penders, we were still only number 5 on his list, but we only had 1 visit previously. McMillan, we were number 1 on his list. So McMillan, more likely to be a decision in our favor, and it is. McMillan has picked us, so Kelly McMillan will be coming to our school. But what about Penders? Did he have offers from the other 4, or was this second visit enough to push him over the top? Penders is coming to ours. For the first time, we have filled every single scholarship. Ryan Fall, small forward, B overall, B- on defense, looking fairly solid, but he's got a couple weaknesses to his game. Don't expect us to get a whole lot more, but the projection is he is a 4-star talent coming in. Small forward, somewhere where we're already deep at. Junior college transfer also coming in for him. 6'4", 226, not big enough to play a big spot, but maybe we are moving once again in that direction with, what's his name, Johnson? Gets his starting spot in place of Robinson at power forward, potentially. McMillan, point guard. That's huge for us. 2-star is the projection, but he's hovered between 2-star and 3-star. B overall, though. Solid. Diamond in the rough. Good defense. Not a very good inside shooter. Not great athleticism for a point guard. But the passing, ball handling is really good. He can run an offense and will score a decent amount from outside. And our third target, Penders, again, 2-star talent, junior college transfer, sophomore, so he should already be fairly well developed. And even he, the lowest ranked guy, is still 5'11". I mean, this is still much better than what we were getting previously. In fact, outside of Darius Q, we haven't had too many guys that have been this high, and we got 3 of them. So the recruiting is definitely coming along. He's athletic. He's got good defense, good outside shot, good scoring. That could be big for us. He's not a good inside shooter, but he's fantastic shooting outside, and he will shoot. Passing, ball handling, could use some work. Not a great rebounder. He's not going to get a ton of steals, but he's going to make it hard for guys to score when he's defending them, and that's big for us. As a junior college sophomore, he's getting 17.7 points per game, 3.5 assists, 3 rebounds, 1.7 blocks per game. Are you sure this is not better than that? 1.4 steals per game. Are you sure this is not better than that? Those are pretty good numbers. I'm excited to see what these 3 recruits can deal for us. McMillan, 2.8 steals per game. Fall's getting a couple. All of them getting better than 1.5 blocks per game. Rebounds, nothing terrible, especially considering it's your outside players and not post players. All of them getting a decent amount of assists. All of them scoring decently well. And 2 of these guys are junior college transfers, which are going to be more play ready now. I think we've got a pretty good group coming in. Let's see what happens with that Final Four, though. Dayton has beaten Oklahoma State 66-64, and Gonzaga blown out by Oklahoma at 73-55. So Oklahoma, the number 1 overall team, against Dayton, the number 1 net ranked team. And Dayton is the winner, 93-84. In real life, Dayton has never won a championship. They have been runner-up, but that was nearly 70 years ago. Now, Dayton, as a program, they're out of the Atlantic 10, is not a huge prestige kind of program, but they've been on the ascendancy in recent years. And in 2020, the year cut short by COVID, they were ranked 3rd in the nation and picked by some as a likely candidate to win the championship. But then the tournament never happened. That was that same year that from the women's tournament, the Oregon Ducks were so well poised, heavy favorites to win that tournament. So sad that tournament did not take place that year. But hey, such is life. But Dayton haven't been the same over the last couple of years. It was just that 2020 year. But for the game, that was enough to build the momentum, build the possibility, and here they are with a proper national championship. I don't know where this 8 national championships comes from, because they don't have that. They don't have that. I've checked. They've made the Final Four twice total. They've never won. There is no 8 national championships, but whatever. Okay. That's a pretty good program. That's a pretty good program, and they've pulled it off. Your 2027 national champion, Dayton Flyers. On to the awards, and I have claimed Coach of the Year for Conference T after a 23-6 season. Disappointing end of the season with the early exit in the conference tournament, and then of course losing to my rival Notre Dame. Everybody has a bogey team, and that's my bogey team, and it's sad to have lost to them, but eventually we will be crushing them. It's just going to take a number of years. We're only in Conference T. We've got a ways to go yet, and we are going to be climbing that ladder one more rung this year, so I'm happy about that. First team all conference has no players from my team. After the dominant season we have put in, we have gotten no individual awards and no players on the first team all conference. Even more surprising is that we've only managed to get a single player on the all conference team. How did we have the season that we had without getting recognized? Ed Hold makes second team all conference at the very least, though. 11.9 points per game, 1.5 assists per game, 6 rebounds a game, 1 steal, 1 block per game. I suppose winning by committee doesn't look well for the individual awards, does it? I'd like to give a quick shout out to William Sampson for telling me how to adjust the numbers on the players and going through and editing that. While I was doing so, I also went in and checked to make sure that I was not a 1 of 1 when it came to scouting, that I had that maximum potential 100 in every attribute, because we are trying to develop from worst to first. And in doing so, I was going to show you where we're at, but it looks like we've hit the end of the season, and so we've seen an update, and now my scouting is not a 1 anymore, it's a 2. Yes, I am a 2 out of 100 in scouting. I was waiting till the end of the season to say if we're still a 1 entering next year, I'm gonna bump it up to some number, but now that it's a 2, I'm not gonna bump it up. It's just progressing really slow. Really slow. So now player development is a 23, so almost a quarter of the way there. Offensive at 17, defensive at 23, and recruiting up to a whopping 34. We are a third of the way through the development of that specific attribute, and I definitely think we're going to get into a phase where I'm going to start trying to push players that aren't interested into getting that baseline interest, because it used to work, and I've seen it now work with my assistant coaches. A 34 might be enough to start influencing guys to talk to us that weren't interested previously. Hopefully that's the case. Maybe it's going to take a bit more, but I think at 34 I might actually be able to get that done. Overall, 94 and 57. 2 conference championships. We did not get the conference championship this year, but we do get that automatic promotion. Just got a new contract as well. 6 years remaining on the current contract. 4 seniors in total will be leaving the program, and if we're lucky, that's all that will be leaving. 1 is Clifford Hart, walk on. No worry about that one. But we are also losing 3 key players. Geyer, Archie, Robinson, all seniors heading out. You would presume that Love and Hold will be staying on, hopefully. If Eric Johnson does not leave us, he will absolutely be a starter next season. That's 3 spots filled. You then figure that 2 of the 3 coming in will hopefully be able to compete, but this may not be as strong of a team. We'll see. Depends on how well the recruiting turned out to be. It looks like at least 1 of those players is going to be pretty dang good and ready to come in and start. We'll see what happens otherwise, and we'll also see if anybody transfers out. If we lose a David Thomas because he didn't play, or a John Stetson because he didn't play enough, maybe a Pete McPherson. If one of those move on, transfer portal then we could focus really hard on filling 1 spot and put kind of everything into getting the right player there. At the end of the season, though, we still ended up with a net rank of 33. A 23-6 record is still a really good year. Down the road, things could have gone a little bit better. We could have gotten the upset against Notre Dame. We could have gotten a little deeper into our conference tournament. I'm still really happy with a strong year and a 3rd, 4th straight promotion. We move up the ladder yet again. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.